Where did you run into your old drill sergeant years later? Behind the counter of a Waffle House at 2 in the morning, wearing a name tag that said Hank, refilling my coffee with a hand that shook a little. Sergeant Boyd, the man who once made me do push-ups in a rain puddle until I couldn't feel my arms. Now he was asking me, can I get you anything else, sir? And he didn't recognize me. Not at first. I'd been driving cross-country for a new job, stopped in at maybe 1:30 in the morning because I needed food, and I was falling asleep at the wheel. Empty place. One cook, one waiter. I sat at the counter, ordered a coffee and a waffle, and I'm scrolling my phone when the voice hits me. Order up hash brown scatter. I knew that voice before I looked up. I'd heard it screaming an inch from my face when I was 19 years old. I looked up and it was him. Older, grayer, thinner, but it was him. Now look, this man made my life hell for 10 weeks. Boyd was the guy who found the one wrinkle in your made bed. The guy who'd smell a mint on your breath and treat it like a federal crime. He once made our whole group stand at attention for 40 minutes because somebody laughed. I hated him back then, genuinely. So I'm sitting there deciding whether to say anything, and he sets my coffee down and goes, "You look like you've been driving a while. Friendly. Tired. Just a guy working a night shift. Long way," I said. "You been here long?" "About a year." He wiped the counter. "Retired out. Pension didn't stretch like they said it would." So, he shrugged like that explained the whole world, and I couldn't help it. I said, "You ever do anything before this? Military, maybe?" He stopped wiping. Looked at me for a second. 22 years. Why? "You ran basic training at Fort Benning, 2009? Now he really looked at me, squinting. "Yeah, I did. Sergeant Boyd," I said. "You made me carry a canteen everywhere for a week because I forgot mine once. You called me Sunshine the entire time." His whole face changed. "Wait," he pointed the rag at me. "Sunshine? Skinny kid, always losing his cover. That's me." And I swear, this man, this terrifying man, broke into the biggest grin I'd ever seen and said, "Well, I'll be damned." Then out of pure habit he barked, "You still losing your cover, Private?" And the cook in the back flinched. I started laughing. He started laughing. He poured himself a coffee and leaned on the counter, and for the next hour it was just the two of us in an empty Waffle House at 2 in the morning. He told me things I never would have guessed. Told me he yelled that hard because his own drill sergeant went easy on his group, and 2 of those guys didn't make it home. "I figured if I made you hate me for 10 weeks, he said, maybe you'd survive long enough to hate me for real." He said it plain, stirring his coffee, not looking for anything back. I told him I did survive 2 deployments. Came home fine. He nodded slow, like that mattered to him more than he'd say. Then he got quiet and said, "You know, I remember all of you. Every group. People think I forgot the second you graduated. I didn't. I got maybe 600 of you out there somewhere, and I think about how you all turned out." I asked him why he never told anybody at work who he used to be. He laughed. Who's gonna believe the waffle guy ran soldiers? Besides, he tapped the name tag. "Here I'm just Hank. Nobody's scared of Hank." Around 3 in the morning, a couple of drunk college kids stumbled in and started giving the cook a hard time, snapping their fingers, being loud, knocking a napkin holder off the table on purpose. And I watched Boyd, sorry Hank, set down his rag. He walked over real calm, didn't yell, just leaned down, said something low I couldn't hear, and I watched every ounce of color drain out of those 2 kids' faces. They sat up straight. They said, "Yes, sir." One of them actually picked the napkin holder up off the floor and set it back like it was made of glass. He came back to the counter, picked his rag back up, and refilled my coffee like nothing happened. I paid my bill, left him a tip that made his eyebrows go up, and shook his hand at the door. He held on a second longer than a handshake needs. "Hey, Sunshine," he said. "Drive safe, and fix your collar, it's crooked." I looked down. It was.